Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 190th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Killer, who has bought the Greek Cities faction, and then we have Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who has bought the Rome Julio faction. And then we have a co-founder of the Brotherhood member Conan, who has also bought the Rome Julio faction. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who's also bought the Rome Julio faction. Just to say there that all of us have been playing RTW since it first came out, and bearing in mind that RTW is now 12 years old, then we've got a combined over 48 years of RTW experience between us. So this should be a great one for you to watch. Just to say, the backing music is by Mr. George Benson, and the name of the track is Give Me the Night. As I said, this should be a great one for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Heaven's member Kornovoi, as this battle was fought approximately 2 years ago, so Kornovoi was then in the Heavens clan, and he's bought the Germania faction. Let's have a quick look at his army. As you can see, he's bought the Chosen Axemen with their effective against armor axes. Used properly, those guys can cut swathe through Roman ranks. Then he's bought his Knight Raiders. Now these Knight Raiders are tough infantry in their own right, but they've also got a fear factor that lowers morale of nearby enemy troops. And I see he's got some more axemen at the back there. I'm just trying to see where I can spot his berserkers, which I'm pretty sure that he's got. Yeah, and there you can see the berserkers there. As I said before in other battle videos, these guys are based on real historic characters who literally just went berserk when they went into battle. Usually either drunk or having a cocktail of drugs, or have just got mental health issues. If you notice in this game, can you see the difference in size between the berserkers and the ordinary infantry units? So this game really highlights the specifications of those berserkers, and they make no doubt about it, those troops are battle changing troops and can rout Roman armies if played correctly with their allies. And also you can see Kornovoi has bought the Germania Gothic cavalry. If you look at the specifications of this cavalry, some of the best cavalry in the game. So that Germania army to me looks incredibly formidable and could be a battle changing army. And then we have Heaven's member Flank Me. As you know, Flank Me is now in the Brotherhood clan, but as I said, this battle was fought 2 years ago and he was in the Heavens clan, and he has bought the Rome Scipio faction. And then we have Heaven's member Banjo Bob, who has bought the Brutii, the Rome Brutii faction. And then we have Brotherhood member Lion Dwarf, who has bought the Rome Scipio faction. If you look at this formation there, I believe that's called the checkered board formation, and that is a formation that Roman armies really did use in battle. So it'll be interesting to see how good that formation does. Right, so there's the enemy team there. This battle has got the ingredients to be a fantastic one for you to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, I think I can see that the enemy's intention is very clear. They are going to be aggressive. Okay, can you see Conan using the old school Roman general there, Roman armor general, to charge into those archers? Remember what I've said in other battle videos? Up to about 7 or 8 years ago, we always used to bring the Roman cavalry general as our general before we turned to an infantry general for our armies. And Conan was just showing you a bit of old school tactics with that cavalry general. That cavalry general's fast moving, got good specifications, difficult to kill. and you can really use it well to disrupt the enemy lines and target soft targets as his archers there, which is what he's just done. Right, as I said, right from the beginning of the game, you can see the enemy intention here is to be aggressive. Can you see the enemy Scipii army there moving towards Conan's Julii army there in a very, very aggressive manner right at the very beginning of the game? It's literally just started. And if you notice that Germania has moved over to that position as well. Now what I'm thinking here is there's going to be a massive exchange of pilers here. Can you see how many pilers are going in there? It's kind of almost like raining pilers there, as you can see both armies exchanging. But this is part of the enemy tactic here. The Scipii Roman army, like if you like the hard edge of this attack, is going to take the pilers. Let's just pause the game for a second for us to take stock of exactly what's going on. As I say, the Scipii army is going to be like the hard-edged part of the attack, and they're going to take the pilers and then charge in to the Julii army. There's what I'm thinking. And then the Germania allies will then come in behind. If you notice that our teammate Killer has bought pikes, well, the reason he's bought pikes is because he knows that those pikes will kill the barbarian troops, including the berserkers, quickly. But he's right on the other flank. He's running over as fast as he can. The enemy team realise this, and they want to hit Conan as fast as they can to try and rout his army. So if you notice, that's why they've been so aggressive. As I say, I think the Scipii army is going to charge in, hit Conan's army, engage all the units as they can, and then the Germania allies are going to go through their allies into Conan's army, including the berserker units, in a hope to rout Conan's army. New players watching this, I think this is a great example. I'm hoping it's going to be a great example of how you use Germania with your Roman allies. Right, can you see that the enemy Scipio army is now moving forward, trying to absorb as many pilers as they can from Conan's army to stop their Germania allies suffering so many casualties. So now you can see the Scipio army has actually hit Conan's army now. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. Okay, can you see now, as I said, the enemy Roman Scipii infantry has now engaged Conan's infantry there. Okay, they've taken the pilers and are now engaging Conan's infantry. Right, can you see the Germania allies with their effective against armour axemen and their knight raiders for fear factor, and those berserkers are going to charge through their allies into Conan's army. Now this could cause a mass rout. RTW players that have played this for a long time have seen this time and time again. Can you see all the enemy cavalry waiting to charge in as well? Killer's trying to get over as fast as he can with his pikes. Right, can you see all the Scipii army is now engaged with Conan's army. They've even charged the cavalry in there as well. Right, have you noticed I formed my army up behind Conan's army there? And the reason for that, let's just pause the game for a second. You see I've formed my army up behind Conan's army, not to go in with Conan's army, because if Conan's army actually starts routing, that could start a chain rout of my army as well. If my army sees all its teammates starting to rout and running through their ranks, that could actually lower the morale of my troops and make them rout as well. So I want to stand back from Conan's army a little bit there, just so if his army does rout, my army should still be stood there to be able to repel any more of the attack. Right, if you notice, I'm charging my cavalry in there to try and counter the enemy attack. If you notice, Steve Longshanks is charging his cavalry in. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. Right, can you see the berserkers? Can you see those banners flashing on and off? That's the berserkers have now been activated and are now gone into berserk mode. And as I say, these troops have got massive specifications. They've got effective against armor maces and can be, as I said, battle changing troops. So they now have been activated. Okay, if you notice, I bring my cavalry in. Steve Longshanks has brought his cavalry in, and Killer's trying to bring pikes in as fast as he can there. But as you can see, bang! That's all that enemy cavalry and our cavalry smash in there. That is one heck of a tassel here on our left flank. As you can see there, a lot of enemy cavalry, infantry, those berserkers, the effective against axemen, the Brutii cavalry and some Brutii infantry units have all charged in there. So Conan's army is doing well to hold. I must say I was expecting to see a mass rout all of a sudden there, but I think his army is doing extremely well there to hold. I see his general still alive, so he's giving a bit of morale to his nearby troops, but how long that'll be, I don't know. Luckily, if you can see, Killer's got some of his Greek city units with their pikes down in front of my army.
Our allies have lost their
okay,
leader.
Conan's general's just been... Let's just pause the game for a second here. Right, as you can see there, most of Conan's army now has been routed. Okay, so that attack by the enemy Scipii, Germania and the Brutii assistance as well has routed Conan's army at this time. Okay, So as you can see, that's pretty bad for our Brotherhood team there. And there's the Berserkers there. Once you activate them and they're into battle, as I say, they just go berserk and you lose control of them, but they just attack the nearest enemy unit. So now they're going to start attacking Killer's pike units there. Now pikes will kill barbarian troops really quickly, so let's see what happens. Right, as you can see, the Berserkers, as I say, they just attack the nearest enemy unit, and in this case the nearest enemy unit are the pikes of Killer's Greek cities here. Remember, Greek cities have got 2 hit points and excellent morale, so they're not going to be that affected by those Berserkers there. Right, you can see this Germania cavalry units there have charged into my cavalry. I'm now reacting to charge my cavalry into them, but I've noticed that they've got the general there, they've got archers firing into me as well, so maybe a good time to maybe pull back from that fray there, as I can see some more German infantry moving over toward, possibly towards my cavalry there. Okay, let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see here, this enemy Scipii and Germania army, as I said, have routed Conan's army and are now moving into some of Killer's pikes and my Julii army there. Okay, so that's what's happening here on the left, and over on the right, can you see Leuendorf is doing a flanking action onto Steve Longshank's Julii army there. Okay, so he's actually coming in on a right flanking action, trying to take out Steve's army. Right, if you notice, the enemy Brutii infantry now have moved over from the centre and are kind of charging in towards the flank of my army and the back of those Greek cities. Now, if Killer moves these Greek city units over, he can go into the back of those Brutii infantry there. Okay, so what they're doing, they're being aggressive, they're attacking, but as I say, if Killer can move those Greek city units over into the back of those attacking Brutii units, that could be a good tactical move for our team. Right, can you see, if you look, can you see that Killer is moving those Greek city units over into the back of those attacking enemy Brutii infantry there. Nice tactical move there by Killer. And in between his other units and those attacking ones now, that Brutii infantry is kind of sandwiched. Meanwhile, over to our left, out the flanker, can you see there's lots of enemy cavalry, plus the enemy archers firing in. There, can you see the axemen now are now attacking the enemy Julii, my army there now. They're moving in as well. Right, just going to pause the game here. If you notice, I'm charging my cavalry in here. Okay, so what I'm looking to do is to avoid my allies' pikes. Friendly pikes kill friendly cavalry, and if I go into those pikes there, then I will lose cavalry on my own friendly pikes there. So I can't do that. So I'm going to try and hit that enemy infantry in between my allies' pikes there. Now I'm very aware that there's cavalry out there on my flank waiting ready to charge in, but I'm thinking if I can hit that Brutii infantry that are already sandwiched between our Greek cities allies units and my units there, we might be able to cause a bit of a rout. Can you see my cavalry charging in? Bang, as that cavalry hits. And see, the shock of the cavalry hit there has caused that those Brutii armies to actually rout there as it hits. But if, like I said, the enemy are now coming in to attack me on the flank.
The general flees. Press forward so the spirit of his army is broken too.
And you see they're making some inroads into my infantry there. But that initial cavalry hit seemed to have done the trick and routed a lot of that Brutii army. Right, let's just pause the game for us to take stock of exactly what's happening here. Let's say we seem to have routed most of the enemy Brutii army that was attacking there. A nice combination hit with Killer's pikes and my cavalry there. That was nice, and I think Steve Longshank's cavalry charged in as well. But over on our right flank here, can you see we've got fresh or just warmed up enemy infantry still in their full formation, mostly intact units there, and moving around the rear of our army there. So meanwhile, over on our left there, we're still kind of like trying to take out what's left of the enemy army there, but we are aware that on our right flank the enemy infantry is still there, mostly fresh and intact units, where most of our units have been fighting for a long time and are going to be tired as well. So as you can see, I say barbarian morale is not very good, so we're hoping that what remains of the Germania army will we'll rout now. Now we've killed, I think, all their berserkers. I think there might be one berserker unit left. Right, the barbarian German general's just been killed now, so the morale of his troops will drop even more. I think there's one berserker left. Oh, we've just seen him get killed there as he drops to the ground. So that's the last of their berserker units. Their general's dead, so apart from their archers, I think most of the Germania army has now been routed. But as I say, you can see that Brotherhood member Lion Dwarf's infantry there. As I say, most units are fully intact. He's probably got a lot of pilers left, maybe, where most of our units have been fighting. They're tired and winded. And his warmed up, almost fully intact units there could make the difference and be a pivotal part of the battle here, as that could make all the difference. Right, you can see Killer's archers have been firing into the enemy right from the beginning of the game there. Right, you can see the Germania cavalry there trying to trace away his archers. If you notice here, I'm charging my Julii cavalry into the flank of Lion Dwarf's infantry, as well as we're attacking him at the front as well. But as you can see, he's got several units not even engaged yet that are full units there. So, as I say, those fresh units he's got there, that could make a difference, because in this in RTW, fresh units fighting tired units. The fresh units usually come out on top. So, as I say, this this part of the battle now could be pivotal to which way it's going to go. You see, I've got my infantry attacking. If you notice, I've got my general stood just behind my troops there, giving them morale. I haven't actually got my general engaged, but he's just stood there giving my troops their morale boost there. And if you notice, Killer's done the same with his Greek cities general. Just put his general in behind his fighting troops there, just to give them morale. If you notice that Steve Longshanks and myself are getting cavalry in behind Lion Dwarf's engaged Scipii infantry there. You know, new players watching this, what you need to do is try and get your cavalry in behind engaged enemy troops and smash into the back of them. And very often you can cause those troops to rout. So that's why Steve and myself have got in behind those engaged enemy troops there with our cavalry. Okay, our cavalry is extremely battle damaged, but the shock of the cavalry hitting those engaged troops may well cause some of those troops to rout. As you see, can you see the three enemy generals there? Two Scipii and the Brutii enemy generals stood in a group there together. If I had a little bit more infantry, that would be a great target to get behind. Right, let's just pause the game for us to take stock of the situation. As I say, you can see the three enemy generals stood there, and if I had more cavalry, I would try and get in behind them and charge into those units, because they're all battle damaged. And if we can get those generals to rout, then the morale of all the rest of their the enemy troops would drop. As you can see, there's still some of our Julii units routing at the moment, so the battle is still very to and fro, bearing in mind, as I say, that Lion's troops are all either warmed up or fresh. So, and the rest of us are all winded or tired. Right, can you see a Scipii unit just coming in behind us there? You may well see it attack a bit later on. There, can you see that Scipii unit just come into your picture on the left side? If you notice that Steve's attacking with his cavalry behind the enemy team. We've managed to rout one of the generals there. And that Scipii unit I was talking about just come in behind us there. Bang. But you've noticed what Steve Longshanks is doing with his very battle damaged cavalry units. Charge in, get a full impact and charge out. Right, can you see I'm charging some of my cavalry units in as well? And bang, is that cavalry charging. Right, can you see that the enemy generals have now all been routed? So the morale of all the enemy Scipii troops will start to drop. There we are, we just killed one of the enemy generals as well. So now, if you notice, almost straight away, most of the enemy Scipii troops' morale has dropped and they've started to rout. Just want to have a look at the big clumps of dead on the battlefield. You can see the battlefield's quite spread out, but you can see where the most intense fighting was by the biggest piles of dead. So you can see it was quite a spread out battle there. And it looks like our team has has managed to go on and win the battle here. But it was very much in the balance. As I say, if you look at the dead on the ground here, you can see the big clumps of where the fighting was was most intense there. I think there's just a couple of, I think there might just be one enemy unit left there. And I think he's just, that general's just admitted defeat. So first thing I'd like to say is, as usual, very well played to everybody in the game. I'd just like to draw your attention to how close the victory was. Can you see it's only a close victory? As I'm sure when you were watching this you could see that. And new players watching this, can you see Brotherhood member Liondorf has got the highest kills in the game, and yet is in the losing team. So getting the highest kills in the game doesn't necessarily mean that you are in the winning team, but obviously most of the time you are. So well done to Lion for getting the highest kills in the game, and really well played to the rest of the enemy team there. Really well played, guys. I thought your aggressive attack at the beginning, using Germania and Rome just right there, was really well done, and I hope it was a good example to new players watching Rome Total War there. The Rome hit and then the German infantry coming through. And well done to Conan, Steve Longshanks and Killer. Really well played, guys. I thought the way that you fought the battle was really good. Great support moves. So really well done to you guys. And just say, if you have enjoyed watching this battle and you've enjoyed watching other Brotherhood battles, then please subscribe to our channel. It's always great to get new subscribers. So it'd be nice to see you. This Spartan Commander saying, look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.